Clash Royale is a game where a single moment can change everything. From controversial updates to roof-shattering wins in CRL, here are 20 moments that changed Clash Royale forever. April 12th, 2024. A day that will forever be remembered in the Clash Royale community, but not for a good cause. You see, on this day, thousands of players were mass banned by Supercell. The reason? A broken glitch which enabled them to get items of their choice from the lucky drops. The bug made progression easy for players that chose to abuse it, thus giving them an unfair advantage. Because of this, Supercell lost tons of revenue and they finally had enough. Permanent bans were carried out and no one was spared, not even well-known content creators. The incident divided the Clash Royale community and two sides were formed. One group sided with Supercell, calling out that their action was totally right, while the second group thought it was unfair that players were permanently banned because of a glitch that was the game's fault. Ultimately, Supercell did revert the permanent ban, but not before this incident had its fair share of drama, making it one of the most controversial moments in Clash Royale history. After a tough year for Clash Royale esports in 2020, Supercell made an announcement that would send the whole community into shock. On December 13th, 2020, Supercell announced that the Clash Royale League will be saying goodbye to the teams and shifting to a single-player global format. The decision received a mixed reaction from the community. Some pros were happy that now there will be a fair chance for everyone to participate without any bias, but many others were against the format change because the viewers preferred teams format and removing that would mean a decrease in viewership. Supercell maintained their stance, claiming that the total prize pool was more than $1 million and that the winner will receive $200,000, the single biggest cash prize in Supercell esports history. All of this led to a very controversial online world finals, which we'll discuss about further in this list. What format do you prefer for CRL? Comment down below. Today, Clash Royale has 117 cards in the game. The number could have been 118 had it not been for the one decision of Supercell that no one can forget even after all these years. On April 2nd, 2020, Supercell made headlines by announcing that they are deleting a card for the first time. Yes, you heard that right. The heal spell was being deleted from the game. But it wasn't just getting deleted, it was actually being replaced by another new card, the Heal Spirit. The deletion of the heal spell revealed many flaws in the Supercell balancing system. Despite trying to balance the heal spell for so many years, Supercell couldn't find a way to make it viable in-game. In the end, they accepted defeat and released a whole other card as the successor to the healed spell. The removal of the healed spell from the game marked the beginning of a new era in Clash Royale. Because, well, after this incident, the game has only seen broken card releases and concepts that are ruining the strategic element of the game. Was the healed spell cursed? Maybe. But to this date, it remains the only card to be deleted permanently from Clash Royale. If you think the healed spell should make its return in the game, drop a like and subscribe to the channel. 2017 was a big year for Clash Royale. With lots of new cards being released and the Crown Championship on the horizon, Supercell released its most iconic in-game challenge ever. The 20-win challenge was announced in August 2017, and it served as the qualifier to the Crown Championship. Players who got 20 wins would proceed to the next round of the championship. As the game evolved over the years, the 20-win challenge remained the most hyped-up in-game event of the year. Players would go full try-hard mode to complete the challenge and get that 20-win badge. Even as the game's popularity declined, the 20-win challenge kept players returning back to the game to just play one final time. Today, the 20-win challenge remains the most awaited in-game event every year, and it's perhaps the only time you see players enjoy the game to the fullest. One of the most community-requested features were tower troops, but all these years, Supercell had maintained that tower troops would be unhealthy for the game. So, it came off as a real surprise when the first tower troop was announced in January 2024. The Cannoneer had arrived, and the Dagger Duchess was on her way. As expected, the tower troops proved to be difficult to balance and in turn made the meta even more toxic. Players raged about the tower troops and how their concept was so matchup dependent. The Cannoneer was good against beatdown decks, but was horrible against swarms, while the Dagger Duchess was great against swarms, but sucked against beatdown. Pro players complained a lot about how the outcome of the matches was pre-decided already just because of what tower troop you and your opponent were using. What was once a highly requested feature turned into a nightmare for Clash Royale. Were tower troops really necessary for the game, or did Supercell see this as a cash grab? What's your opinion? Before, we talked about how the CRL format shift to solo competition became a source of controversy. But all of that was forgotten when the CRL World Finals began. Everyone expected Mohamed Light to win, considering how dominant he was throughout the year, topping the leaderboard with 1,065 points. But surprise, surprise! Enter Mugi, one of the most gifted Clash Royale players of all time. No one gave him a chance in the finals because of his poor performance throughout the year, but his performance in the World Finals shocked everyone. Mugi went on an undefeated streak, knocking out everyone, including Mohamed Light in the Grand Finals, and thus became Clash Royale League's first ever solo champion. But this was just the beginning of the GOAT debate between Mugi and Mohamed Light. Later in this video, we'll take a look at how the next 3 years gave birth to the most iconic rivalry in Clash Royale, which changed the pro scene forever. In March 2017, Clash Royale released one of its most popular game modes of all time. 2v2 battles were introduced, and for the first time ever, players could team up with their friends and battle 2 other players in real time. You could also play with random people and add them to your friend list. The 2v2 mode was all in hype during that year until it fell off and players grew bored. The issue was that there was no competitive play for 2v2, which made it feel repetitive and boring. Therefore, demands for a 2v2 ladder system were raised for many years until something unexpected happened in November 2024. Supercell finally listened and gave the players the most requested feature of all time. 2v2 ladder was introduced temporarily, and it was an instant hit. Although it was later removed from the game after 2 weeks, Supercell assured that it will return back in the future. Players now once again wait to feel the thrill of playing with their friends and hope that the 2v2 ladder returns soon. Progression was always one of the major issues in Clash Royale. To resolve this, Supercell introduced magic items in March 2021. Books of every rarity, magic coins, and wild cards were introduced, making it easy for free-to-play players to upgrade their cards. The update received a lot of positive feedback, making it one of the few which was appreciated by the community. Ever since, magic items are the major reason why a lot of us watching this video even have a maxed deck. The introduction of magic items was a big success for Clash Royale because the game saw a rise in popularity throughout the year after what seemed like forever. Let me know what's been the most useful magic item for you. The first ever season of Clash Royale League in 2018 was a big moment in the esports industry. A mobile game hosting an event of this margin with the best esports organizations was unheard of. The 2018 Clash Royale League World Finals, held in Tokyo, featured 6 teams from every major region of the world. The World Finals had a lot of exciting moments, particularly the clone spell played by Expo Master against the greatest player, Elsiop. After a series of tough competition, it was Nova Esports who emerged victorious in the Grand Finals. They beat VivoKid 3-1 in the finals, taking home a whopping $150,000. CRL 2017 Finals wasn't just an event, it was a statement. The event proved that even mobile games can organize great esports events on the global stage. Clash Royale had truly proved a point at the biggest stage of them all. 26th May 2023 marked an important day in Clash Royale history. Despite numerous complaints about progression, Clash Royale had released Level 15 in what is considered as one of the most controversial updates of all time. Level 15 brought whole new changes to Path of Legends 2, making it much harder for players to progress to Ultimate Champion. The reason being that the final 3 leagues now required Level 15 cards to be used, which was really difficult for a free-to-play player. Supercell introduced Elite Wild cards to counter this issue, stating that players won't need to use gold or any extra cards to upgrade to level 15. They would only need 50,000 Elite Wild cards to upgrade a card from level 14 to level 15. While this change was welcomed, many players were still frustrated because it wasn't easy to get so many Elite Wild cards. Players were also annoyed at the fact that Supercell were just adding new levels in the game instead of actual new gameplay stuff. Has Supercell lost their touch? Was Supercell only interested in making money and not caring about the players? This wasn't the only time such questions were raised though. As we move further in this video, we'll discover the number one most controversial moment in Supercell's history. In August 2020, Supercell announced that a huge update was on its way and that it will change the game forever. The hype was real and the community was buzzing with excitement. What was supposed to be a game-changing update turned out to be Clan Wars 2.0, and all the excitement died. Saying that the Clash Royale community was disappointed would be an understatement. People were raging about how the update was worthless and that no one really played Clan Wars, which was partially true. Those who played Clan Wars weren't happy with the update either, calling it a big flop. Supercell later acknowledged that they might have hyped the update a bit too much, and it indeed turned out to be a big mess. While the update failed miserably, people did appreciate an honest answer from Supercell, making it a rare moment in Clash Royale's history. In June 2023, Clash Royale announced a new feature that would change how people played the game forever. Card evolutions were released. And well, they did indeed change the way the game was played. But in a good way? Probably not. Evolutions were meant to be stronger versions of every card, but turns out they were extremely broken. They were in fact so strong that even champions seemed inferior to them. The first 4 evolutions were for the Barbarians, Firecracker, Royal Giant, and Skeletons. All 4 were insanely strong, and players were worried that this whole concept would mess up the skill aspect of the game. While evolutions seemed like a fun concept, it made life even harder for free-to-play players. Unlocking an evolution required 6 evolution shards, which were near impossible for a free-to-play player to obtain. And not having evolutions in your deck puts you at a serious disadvantage. Over time, Clash Royale did make it easier to obtain evolutions for players, but the whole concept was a mess in the early days. Players have gotten used to evolutions now, and Supercell has been doing a really good job with the balance changes as well. What's your favorite card evolution? One of Clash Royale's most iconic features was introduced in April 2019. The Trophy Road replaced the old ladder system, and guess what? It turned out to be a major success. Considered as one of the best decisions ever made by Clash Royale, the new Trophy Road enabled players to gain more rewards as they progressed. Trophy Gates were also introduced, which prevented a player from dropping below a certain arena. All these changes were welcomed by the Clash Royale community. Players loved the update and praised Supercell, making it one of the best moments Clash Royale ever had. April 2018 was bittersweet for the Clash Royale community. On the positive side, Clan Wars was introduced for the first time in Clash Royale and players were excited to try it out. But the introduction of Clan Wars meant that the legendary fan favorite Clan Chest was going to be removed from the game. Many players had wonderful memories with the Clan Chest, as clans would unite their players to complete the chest together. Seeing the Clan Chest removed was a tough pill to swallow for many players, but they hoped something better would take its place. Well, spoiler alert, that didn't happen, as both Clan Wars 1 and Clan Wars 2 were a massive flop. Do you miss the Clan Chest in the same way as I do? Only 8 players featured in the 2024 Clash Royale League World Finals. The event was much less hype than its predecessors, but despite the format being bad, viewers were interested in a different storyline. Remember the 2021 CRL World Finals? Mugi beat Mohamed Light to become the first ever solo world champion, but Mohamed Light wasn't about to give up. After putting up a dominant performance in 2022, Mohamed Light became the CRL champion, this time beating Mugi, who came in 4th. Many players were already calling him the GOAT after seeing his dominant performance. His great form continued throughout 2023 too, but the same story was about to be repeated that year in the World Finals, as Mohamed Light lost in the top 6. And guess who was the champion that year? Mugi, of course! The GOAT debate was once again in question, with many players switching sides. But Mohamed Light had different plans. In 2024, he went on the most dominant run in the history of esports, winning more than half of the monthly finals and eventually becoming the world champion easily. Later, he was awarded the Esports Player of the Year, and for many, the GOAT debate was finally settled. It did, at least for me. Who do you consider the Clash Royale GOAT? On October 26, 2022, Clash Royale introduced a new ranked mode in the form of Path of Legends. The old leaderboard system was removed to the surprise of many, and Path of Legends took its place. Players could compete against each other to move up in the leagues. A win in Path of Legends didn't give you trophies. Rather, you were awarded with a step closer to the next league. Once you completed all the steps and reached Ultimate Champion, the Hall of Fame would open for you, where you would start earning medals. This new way of competitive play got mixed reactions from the community, as some players preferred the old leaderboard. But things need to change if the game wants to progress, and Clash Royale did the exact same. Now, players have adapted to this new ranked mode and grind harder than ever to reach Ultimate Champion. For the first time in July 2019, Clash Royale introduced the Pass Royale, and it actually turned out to be a massive game changer for Supercell. The Pass Royale offered insane rewards like unlimited re-entries and challenges, golden names, and automatic chest unlocking. Over the years, the Pass Royale has grown more and more valuable, and now you can even unlock a full evolution from it. Nowadays, you can also get gems, tower skins, animated battle banners, lucky drops, royal wild chest, and an invaluable evolution shard from the Pass Royale. For a price of $10, this deal is definitely a steal. The introduction of Pass Royale also marked the beginning of the first Clash Royale season, The Flood, in which the Fisherman was announced as the new card. The trend of seasons has continued ever since, and Pass Royale remains the most valuable thing to spend money on in Clash Royale. In October 2021, Clash Royale released something that totally changed the way we play the game. In one of the most important updates of the game, champions were added to Clash Royale. Now, the community was asking to add heroes to Clash Royale for quite a while, but Supercell had always been against the idea, maintaining that the concept would be game-breaking. So when champions were announced, the community was surprised, but excited at the same time. As soon as they were added in-game, players realized that Supercell was initially right, and champions will change the core gameplay forever. The main reason? Champions came with a 3-card cycle, meaning that while a champion is alive on the field, another one can't be played. This led to players being able to cycle their cards faster than ever while the 3-card cycle was active. The meta became cycle dominant, and beatdown decks were in for a hard time. But wait, that wasn't all. Champions also had their unique abilities, which could be activated for a small elixir cost, and those abilities were so powerful that it took players a long time to adapt. Every champion has been broken in the game at some point in time, with a Goblinstein being the one causing chaos in the current meta. While champions are overshadowed by evolutions nowadays, they still remain dominant in the game. Players keep on finding new ways to utilize their unique mechanics to their full potential. We may be possibly seeing more champions this year in Clash Royale, and I, for one, am excited for them. The year 2019 and the Clash Royale League World Finals are just a week away. Everyone is excited to see the most decorated Clash Royale player of all time, Surgical Goblin, win the World Finals trophy for the first time. But just 5 days before the event is scheduled to begin, Surgical Goblin announces that he can't go to the World Finals because of visa issues. All hope was lost for him, and the fans were in disbelief. He was trying his best to get his visa, but with no success. 6th December 2019. The World Finals are in 2 days. And then, a miracle happened. Surgical Goblin gets his visa, boards the last flight to Los Angeles, and arrives at the World Finals venue exactly 24 hours before the event begins. Despite being jet-lagged and tired from all the travel, he gives his best in the World Finals. And when both Team Liquid and SK Gaming were 1 match away from making it to the top 2, Surgical Goblin faced his long-term rival, Morten. What is considered as the best match in Clash Royale history ended with, why don't you guys watch it for yourselves?
Inferno Tower high! Magic Archer gets a shot! Connecting! Magic Archer gets another shot! Morten trying to get Graveyard on tower! Poison gets down! 784! 1 HP! 1 HP! Oh my God! Surgical Goblin does it! Liquid's going to the final! 1 HP! That's all!
Surgical Goblin wins against Morten with 1 HP remaining. The greatest player delivers the greatest moment in CRL history. How perfect. And wait, there's more. Team Liquid reaches the finals and eventually ends up winning the championship. And guess who delivered the winning blow? That's right, Surgical Goblin himself. What a perfect storyline. If you're a true Clash Royale esports fan, I'm sure that a smile comes on your face every time this moment gets mentioned. It does on mine. October 18th, 2021, Supercell announced Slash Royale, the event where the cost of all card upgrades were to be reduced to half. The community was not just happy, they were praising Supercell like never before. But what came next was something no one ever expected. Supercell announced Level 14 was coming in November, and the community went in shock. What was going on? Supercell makes the players spend all their gold on upgrading their cards during Slash Royale, and then announces level 14? How were players supposed to level up their cards if they had no gold? Something was fishy, and the community began to point out the shady side of Supercell for this. Words like corrupt and scam were mentioned by the community, and players no longer trusted Supercell after this. Despite apologizing and offering compensation to correct their mistake, their reputation never fully recovered, as many players still see Supercell as just another company who only cares about the money. What was supposed to be a great initiative towards the players turned out to be the darkest moment in Clash Royale history. Was the Slash Royale event a fully planned scam, or was it an honest mistake? I'll leave it up to you guys to judge. Whether in a positive or a negative way, these 20 moments definitely changed Clash Royale forever. Did you recall every moment I mentioned? Well, I'm sure you won't be aware of these next facts because only original Clash Royale players know about them. Do you want to prove me wrong? Well, click on this video then.